This story is proof that all it takes is one small moment to ignite a passion that leads to a multi-billion-dollar legacy. Clessie Cummons overcame countless challenges to catapult this once small company into a global powerhouse, revolutionizing the diesel engine industry and leaving a lasting mark on automotive history.
The idea.
The story begins in 1911, when a young American self-taught engineer, Clessie Cummons, joined the pit crew for Ray Harron's Marmon Wasp team at the first ever Indianapolis 500. The race was held at the now iconic Brickyard track. Harron's car had a revolutionary feature, the first ever rear-view mirror, a game-changer that helped secure their victory. Clessie's involvement in this landmark event ignited his passion for racing and innovation, setting the stage for the rise of one of the world's largest engine manufacturers. Following the race, Clessie gained recognition and caught the attention of William Irwin, a local financier and supporter of Harron's team. Clessie began working as a chauffeur and mechanic, impressing Irwin with his skills. As a result, Irwin supported Clessie's mechanical ambitions, helping him build his first gasoline engine prototype in 1915. Their partnership soon shifted to diesel technology after discovering the Dutch HVID engine in 1918. Enthralled by the efficiency of diesel engines, Cummins and Irwin secured the license to manufacture HVID engines for the U.S. market.
Birth of the company.
In 1919, Irwin made a $10,000 investment to help Clessie make a new company that would be known as the Cummins Engine Company. The company's first product was an 8-horsepower HVID engine, and it was re-engineered by Clessie for even better performance. By 1921, Cummins had secured 2 patents related to fuel efficiency and manifold technology, and it became the beginning of a legacy in diesel engine innovation. Clessie's ingenuity paid off when he launched his own Model F engine in 1924, ending the partnership with HVID and fully establishing Cummins as an independent manufacturer. But he didn't stop there. After securing the license deal with HVID, Cummins later negotiated to have his engine sold through the Sears Roebuck & Company catalog. However, an unforeseen loophole exploited by the farmers was Sears' return policy. Many farmers purchased the engines, used them for a season, and then returned them for a refund. Irwin, who is Cummins' major financial backer, was obviously not thrilled with the situation and encouraged Cummins to continue to improve the design and reliability of the engines. Until that point, Cummins was convinced that diesels had great potential as power plants for cars and trucks, so he just wanted to move away from stationary agricultural engines. To demonstrate their feasibility and efficiency, he installed one of his engines into a 1926 Packard Touring sedan, which he drove from Indiana to New York City with the intent of presenting it at the 1930 New York Auto Show. The car covered nearly 800 miles, having used only 30 gallons of fuel, an average of 26 miles per gallon, an astoundingly efficient figure for that time. Unfortunately, because he was not officially registered as an exhibitor at the show, Cummins was turned away. He decided to try again, but this time in Atlantic City. Cummins decided to be sneaky this time around. He rented a space across the convention hall and displayed the car there. Ended up being a bigger attraction than most of the official exhibits at the actual show. This success provided Clessie with enough optimism. It helped him believe that his dream would actually become a reality one day. So, in 1931, Cummins staged another one of his famous public exhibition drives, using a Marion truck equipped with one of his Model U engines. The truck drove from New York to Los Angeles, a distance of over 3,000 miles in only 97 hours. Now keep in mind that this was more than 2 decades before the construction of the interstate highway system. After his successful truck demonstration run in 1931, Cummins followed up with another New York to LA run, this time with a bus, which completed the journey in 91 hours and achieved speeds up to 65 miles per hour. With time, his bus proved to be faster than the passenger trains from the 1930s. Some have speculated that this was one of the events that planted the idea of the interstate highway system. After a decade of ups and downs during which the diesel engine failed to take hold as a commercial success, a stroke of marketing genius by Clessie Cummons helped save the company. Cummins mounted a diesel engine in a used Packard limousine, and on Christmas Day in 1929, this car took W.G. Irwin for a ride in America's first diesel-powered automobile. Irwin's enthusiasm for the new engine led to an infusion of cash into the company, which helped fuel a number of speed and endurance records in the coming years, including a grueling 13,535-mile run at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 1931. Such feats earned Cummins' foothold as an engine supplier to the trucking industry. In 1935, Cummins swapped a new lightweight six-cylinder diesel into an Auburn 851 sedan, which achieved an incredible 40 miles per gallon, an incredible milestone for that period of time. The car also reached an equally impressive top speed of 90 miles per hour. Cummins hoped for a long-term relationship with the automaker, but Auburn went out of business only a year later.
Diesel Workers Union.
On May 21, 1937, J. Irwin Miller stood before workers to support their right to unionize and oppose the idea of making a national union. Shortly after, the Cummins Employees Association was formed. It would become known as the Diesel Workers Union. On April 21, 1938, Miller then decided to replace the chauffeur tools with production equipment and constructed a full-scale repair plant. He then helped employees organize the Diesel Workers Union, and he solicited business during the Great Depression. He did so by reaching out to cash-starved truckers, telling them that they would save money if they bought in their trucks and got the Cummins engines as an option. Miller referred to this strategy as going to the users and not the suppliers, meaning that it was a backdoor approach. Fortunately for the young company, the trucking business prospered in the 1930s because of the improved roads and the demand for point-to-point deliveries. Diesel engines for large trucks that needed maximum fuel efficiency were increasing in demand. In 1937, the young company turned its first profit. Even if selling engines to competitors seemed like an uncertain way of doing business, the Cummins approach worked. Miller, who was admired as a scholar and philanthropist, later acknowledged, "We're in the business of selling engines to engine makers, which is surely not the smartest way to make a living."
Hey, I'm popping in really quick. My name is William. I run the channel here at Extreme Force. I also run a premium merino wool sock brand for trade workers called Camel City Mill. Now, we offer 3 lengths. These socks are perfect. We have the boot cut, the crew, and the ankle. These socks are perfect if you struggle with sweaty feet, if you're on your feet for 12, 14 hours a day, if you work in the trades, anything where any hard work is necessary, then you need our socks. And there are 3 main reasons why. Reason number 1 is if you struggle with sweaty, stinky feet, using a merino wool sock, that's gonna help you tremendously. Number 2, we don't use any merino wool. We use a special proprietary yarn called Ironside merino wool. The way we kind of spin that together, it makes our socks twice as durable compared to regular merino wool. Here's an example where I'm picking up a 15-pound kettlebell with a single thread of our Ironside merino wool. Not only that, but we also do double-plated nylon fortification in the toe and in the heel. This makes our socks so durable that we offer a 10-year durability guarantee. So that means if you get a hole in your socks within the first 10 years, no joke, you can send them back to us. We'll give you a brand new pair completely free. The third thing you're gonna love about these socks is that they are 100% USA made. So our factory is in North Carolina, the wool's in North Carolina. We're a North Carolina company. We're really proud about that. North Carolina is the hosiery sock capital of the United States. We're right there, we're epicenter. So if you like American-made products, if you like an American-made pair of socks, it has a 10-year durability guarantee that will give you dry, comfortable feet, even if you're working a 14-hour shift in 100-degree weather. Make that feel like easy mode. If you want a pair of these socks right now, use the link down in the description below. We'll hook you up. Thank you again for watching Extreme Force. Now let's get back to the video.
Major boom.
The company doubled its sales in 5 years and continued to do so up until the 1960s. Sales in 1946 hit $20 million, and a decade later, they reached more than $100 million. Cummins' best-selling engine was a 2,590-pound diesel for trucks that weighed 13 tons or more. To maintain the high demand for Cummins engines, the company had to stay ahead of the competition, which soon included Mack trucks, Caterpillar, and GM's Detroit diesel. In 1952, the company unveiled a turbo diesel, which used exhaust gases to turn a gas turbine into a supercharger. The device increased the horsepower of each Cummins engine by 50%, without raising fuel consumption. That year, Cummins demonstrated the engine at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where it unfortunately malfunctioned. Miller didn't panic. He simply said, "We have progressed from failure to failure." Looking back, one might say that he confidently predicted that the turbo diesel would soon be perfected and marketed, which, as we all know now, was the case. Cummins would go on to be an active participant in the Indianapolis 500 for decades, but a first-place finish seemed to always slip away from them. Undeterred, they submitted a race car known as the Green Hornet. It was distinctive for its paint job and powered by a Model JS engine, able to produce 340 horsepower in the 1950 race. The car qualified in 32nd place and finished 29th. In 1952, Cummins took a first-place qualifying position. The car ran strongly, but fell back during the course of the race, finishing 27th. A post-race inspection revealed that the turbocharger inlet on the car was clogged with rubber tire particles from the track. This would be the last time a diesel-powered race car competed at Indy. In 1954, Miller established the Cummins Foundation, and 3 years later, it offered to pay architects' fees for the construction of new public buildings, resulting in the streets of Columbus being graced with designs created by renowned architects from around the globe. America had started a large interstate highway construction program by the 1950s, and thousands of vehicles and much of the equipment used to build the highways were powered by Cummins engines. Cummins met the demands of truckers who required economy, power, dependability, and durability. Cummins accomplished technological advances, notably the groundbreaking PT pressure time fuel injection system of 1954, by fusing lab-based research with field-based trials, including dramatic performances at the Indianapolis 500 races. Cummins retired from the board of directors in 1955 and went on to found his own company, Cummins Enterprises. He had been working on an experimental exhaust brake prior to his retirement and later partnered with the Jacobs Chuck Company to create another icon of the diesel world, the famed Jake Brake exhaust brake. He later worked briefly for the Allison Aircraft Engine Company in California.
Decline.
The gradual collapse of Cummins started in the early 1960s. Profits and sales were not constant. The company's 1962 introduction of a new range of engines with more than 300 horsepower failed to secure a commanding market share for over 2 years. The management faced criticism for falling behind in terms of market share and product development. Years after the company's establishment and more than 2 decades later, Cummins stock is first offered for public trading. The first time the Cummins ticker symbol was shown on the New York Stock Exchange was in 1964.
Breakthrough.
By 1967, Cummins' share of the heavy truck market had slipped to less than 45%. Earnings were off by 78%. A strong truck market helped sales rebound in 1968, reaching a record of $365 million. Vigorous sales continued over the next few years, but earnings were erratic. Assumed the presidency just 2 years later and blamed surprisingly strong demand for the thin margins. Instead of preparing for an increased truck demand, Cummins had diverted resources to its non-diesel holdings. To catch up to the competition, Cummins operated its factories 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and paid a large amount in overtime wages. A 2-month strike did nothing but make things worse for the corporation. In 1968, Clessie Cummons Sr. passed away. A number of publications have been written by his son, Clessie Lyle Cummons, including a biography of his father and the business he built titled The Diesel Odyssey of Clessie Cummons. Cummins experimented with superchargers and later turbochargers for that initial boost of speed, later acquiring whole-set turbochargers in 1973, but they could never figure out how to have a first-place finish at the Indy race. The new engines did not sell very well at first, as the truck market in 1975 plummeted by 40%. The following year, however, the market rebounded, and Cummins took the lion's share. Sales reached $1 billion and earnings were $59 million. Cummins benefited from the sudden enforcement of the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit. Furthermore, the company outperformed its competitors by introducing a turbocharged, slower-running version of its large block engine, offering 5% better economy.
Expansion to China.
A line of 450 horsepower engines was introduced in 1975. During the same year, Cummins became one of the first American companies to pursue business in China. 6 years later, Cummins continued its track record of creating opportunities in new markets when it signed a license agreement for the NH, K, and KV engines with the China Technical Import Corporation. The company's partnership with Chrysler probably moved the recognition of Cummins' name beyond the commercial truck sector. Of the Detroit 3 automakers, Chrysler was the only one without a diesel option available for its full-size trucks by the middle of the 1980s. In 1978, General Motors became the first company to offer a diesel option in their full-size vehicles. In 1983, Ford introduced a diesel that was sourced from International Harvester. These two engines were V8s with natural aspiration. Although they were more fuel efficient and provided power on par with their smaller displacement gasoline equivalents, neither of them was particularly renowned for producing torque, which is a feature of contemporary turbo diesel. That standout feature would come in the form of the Cummins B-Series 6-cylinder engine. Cummins had already established a rock-solid reputation in the commercial segment, and the company was ready to set the stage for its next expansion. John Keel, Cummins' OEM marketing manager at the time, shared his insight on the early stages of development of the Cummins-powered Ram. In early 1981, Chrysler formed truck operations to breathe new life into its truck division. During the same year, Cummins began marketing the new medium-duty engine line, Keel said. Cummins then invited Chrysler to review its B-Series engine alongside their market research and engineering facilities. To ensure that the 5.9-liter B-Series engine fit properly beneath the hood, Cummins requested the engine compartment drawings in 1983. After that, Chrysler received a functioning mock-up engine to utilize in a showcase car. The project was officially launched following the truck's technical evaluation and the conclusion that there were no significant problems. Cummins was never able to dominate the racetrack for many years. The closest the business came to winning an Indianapolis 500 was when Al Unser won the race in 1987 while driving a Cosworth-powered vehicle that included a turbocharger from Holset, a British company that Cummins had purchased 10 years before. But still, the company has retained dominance of the commercial diesel market, holding more than a 40% share among Class 8 trucks for the 2012 year to date.
B-Series potential.
Getting the B-Series into the Ram was not an easy task, because the Cummins engine was substantially longer and heavier than the 360 cubic inch V8 that was Ram's top engine at the time. It also produced substantially more torque, so Dodge had to relocate the radiator support forward by 4 inches, use a large radiator, and an engine oil cooler. Additional upgrades included a new electrical system and strengthened transmission, followed by a new torque converter, one that was better suited for the diesel's low-end torque. But it didn't end there either, as the four-wheel drive vehicles also received updated axle shafts, a stronger rear axle, and an improved transfer case. With a potential output exceeding 200 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque in commercial applications, the engine had to be detuned for its use in the Ram, considering emissions regulations, driveline strength, and reliability. The final calibration for the 1989 Ram was set at 160 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. Although the horsepower was around the same as that offered by the naturally aspirated diesel V8s from GM and Ford, the torque figure was more than impressive. The Ram acquired a significant payload and towing advantage over its competitors because the engine was built for far heavier duty use than it would ever see in a pickup. The revolution in diesel truck performance had already begun. The customer-driven model has guided the collaboration and development of products that deliver the attributes truck buyers in the 3/4 and 1-ton truck sector primarily want and need: fuel economy and reliability. Although Cummins possesses highly advanced R&D resources and capabilities, the team won't release an unproven product to the market. Cummins is very much cutting edge in its understanding and research, but it's certainly not introducing technology for technology's sake. Altermott said. Cummins may not aim to be a deliberate trendsetter, but its dedicated focus on diesel development gave it an early advantage in the heavy-duty truck segment. A prime example is the multi-valve ISB engine introduced in 1998, 3 model years ahead of its competitors. This same basic architecture has been the foundation of the engines offered in Ram HD trucks ever since, with the biggest change occurring in 2007 when displacement increased from 5.9 to 6.7 liters. This upgrade raised output to an impressive 350 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. While Ford and GM had caught up in terms of power, Dodge and Cummins still maintained the best reputation for reliable, trouble-free operation. Cummins is no longer just an engine business. It has grown into a global power leader with more than $17 billion in sales in 2013. They are a family of interconnected yet diversified businesses that create or enhance value through their relationships and by doing business with one another. As of September 6, 2024, the company has a market capitalization or net worth of $40.18 billion, a 20.93% increase over the past year. Now that brings us to the end of today's video. What do you think about Cummins' incredible growth? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on amazing machines and their innovative manufacturers. We will see you in the next one.